Hello ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and you have no idea who I am, my name is Chanel. I run a blog called CHANELFILES.com, and over here in this very small corner of the YouTube world, we talk about God, fashion, luxury fashion, we do some vlogging, we like to work out, we like to eat healthy, we take care of our skin, and overall sis, we like to live a blessed life. So if any of those things are of interest to you, then I would hope you consider hitting subscribe down below. As you can see from the title of today's video, we are going to be doing a chit chat about my weight loss over the past year. Now I will say this video is super long overdue. A lot of you guys have asked for this video quite a few months ago, and so I have to apologize that I am just now getting this video out to you guys. Nonetheless, here we are today talking about my weight loss. So we're gonna just go ahead and dive into it. I'm telling you right now, I have an iced coffee that is waiting to be sipped, and I will be drinking it throughout the video. I have my notes here, and yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and get into it. First things first is I actually have a video here on my channel that I wanna say I filmed maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, sharing with you guys how during that point I had lost around 35 to 40 pounds. And though that video is a few years old, it actually is still pretty chock full of information. So I will leave that video down below if that is something you may possibly want to watch as well. Also, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. I know that these videos tend to be a little bit triggering for some people when you talk about weight loss and calories and just all of that. Please just watch this video and take everything that I say that I did with a grain of salt. Just because it works for me does not mean it'll work for you, and vice versa. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm really gonna just focus on two of the biggest things that I think are the contributing factors to weight loss, weight gain, or even weight maintaining or weight maintenance, and that is what you're eating. When I decided a year ago, a little over a year ago, it was March 25th of 2020, when I decided that I wanted to slim down a little bit, it was really for me just about looking at what I was eating and just figuring out, okay, what am I eating in excess? What am I eating not enough of? And where can I just maybe slim back a little bit? However, I also knew that at some point I wanted to slowly transition to a whole foods, plant-based lifestyle. Now, if you are not familiar with plant-based, it's pretty much just eating as minimally processed foods as possible. So essentially you're eating as much from the earth as possible. Fruits, vegetables, legumes, things like that. I knew that at some point I wanted to transition from, I guess you could say, pescatarianism. Is that a word? I don't know. But essentially eating, you know, fish and shrimp every now and again to completely eliminating it. And now that I look back a year later, I can say that I definitely have slowly transitioned to that. And for me, it has not been a problem. I definitely was a meat eater growing up. You know, we had chicken. Every now and again, we would have beef or, you know, shrimp or fish or things like that. But as an adult, I don't really feel like meat was a huge component of my life. I mean, again, of course, I would still enjoy like chicken every now and again or fish or whatever the case may be. But looking back over like the past 3 or 4 years, honestly, you guys, I really just kind of realized like I could probably do without meat, to be honest. So for me, knowing that I wanted to transition to a whole foods, plant-based lifestyle wasn't super daunting, but I also didn't want to just completely eliminate, you know, fish right at jump. Now, when it comes to the amount of food that I was eating, at the end of the day, and this is something that I hope you do your own research and just do your own due diligence for, I had to know what my daily caloric intake needed to be. I don't care if you talk to a scientist, a nutritionist, a dietitian, a trainer, they will all tell you whether you want to gain weight, lose weight, or even maintain your weight. You need to know how many calories to eat every day. Period. Again, do your own research, but I can pretty much guarantee you anybody will tell you that, because that is simply just the reality of it. It is the way our bodies know whether we are in a deficit, whether we are maintaining, or we are at a surplus, meaning you're trying to gain weight. So I just simply went and I found a couple of different weight loss calculators. You literally can just Google weight loss calculators. There are so many free ones out there. I pretty much just put in my height, my current weight at the time, and my activity level. Now, Back when I first started in March, I was working out, I want to say 4 days a week. I have increased that to 6 days a week. Why? Because I simply enjoy working out. However, we'll talk more about working out later on in the video. But nonetheless though, those are probably like the bare minimum things that you would put into a weight loss calculator. And then what happens is the calculator will generate, based off of the information that you put in, pretty much a range of calories that you should be eating to get to a particular goal. Now again, there are several different calculators. I did multiple calculators and then kind of figured out what that prime number was. Now I'm not going to share the amount of calories that I ate because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you need to know for your body, for where you are, for where you want to go, for your day-to-day activity level, it is imperative that you know the number for you. Because I knew that number, and again, I knew that I wanted to eventually transition to a whole foods plant-based lifestyle, I pretty much just made sure that the majority of what I ate on a day-to-day basis consisted of vegetables and protein. Now, in the beginning, I want to say maybe the first, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 months, I was still having fish. Every now and again, I would do shrimp. But generally speaking, when I look back, I did eat a lot of fish. And that was just my personal choice. Again, you can do what works for you. I know my body. I knew the results that I wanted. And I knew just the way that my body performs. Because again, I have lost weight in the past. For me, all I did was vegetables and protein. I did not do any carbs. I did not do any starches. And I did not do any grain. Your carbs meaning sweet potatoes, purple potatoes. Also, those are starches. Grains like brown rice, white rice, any sort of just grain I chose not to eat when I was really trying to shred. And again, that was just a personal choice because I knew the way that my body would respond to just having protein and vegetables, and that is what I did. Again, you have to figure out what works for you. That is what worked for me. So that was probably the first, give or take 7 or 8 months that I was still eating fish and shrimp and things like that. Now that I am a year and I guess a month out now, I have pretty much almost completely eliminated fish and shrimp. Now I did maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago have fish because I was craving it, so I ate it and it hit the spot. It did everything that I needed it to do and I felt great. I didn't feel any type of way about it whatsoever because again, I knew and know that transitioning to a whole foods plant-based lifestyle is going to take time, and sometimes even for me, I have to remind myself of this. You cannot just go super cold turkey because a lot of the times when we go cold turkey and we go super hard in the beginning, it ends up biting us in the end. So for me, I knew that even a year later, it was going to be a very slow transition. However, now looking back, I probably can count on 1, maybe 2 hands how many times in a year I would have fish or shrimp. So again, that is what works for me. You have to do what works for you. Now, when it comes to snacking, because I feel like snacks are life for all of us. We love a good snack. We love a good snack moment, especially because all of us, or maybe not all of us, but a lot of us are, still working from home. I feel like just by default, we tend to snack. I knew that when I was in the prime of shredding and just trying to really get the weight off, I had to watch the amount of snacks that I was eating and what I was eating. And I think, again, people don't really fully understand that weight loss is like 80% what you eat. Like, working out is great. Of course, it's great for your health. It's great for your body. For me, it's great for all of those things and my mental health. But at the end of the day, a lot of weight loss is just very much so focused on what you eat. However, I knew that in order for me to maintain my sanity throughout this process, I still needed to have certain snacks that I enjoyed. So just a few things that I would have pretty much on a daily basis. Of course, I would still monitor how much of it I was eating, but generally speaking, every day I would have popcorn. I would obviously have certain things like carrots and cucumbers, grape tomatoes. Just as snacks, I would drizzle a little bit of, whatever dressing I wanted on it. Again, being mindful of how much, but still just allowing myself to snack throughout the day, but of course being mindful of what it is that I was snacking on. So again, popcorn, certain vegetables, also Protein One, like the brand Protein One has these Protein One bars that are super good. I love to put them in the freezer and they kind of get like candy bar like texture. I don't really know how to explain it, but for me, for me, that was I guess my sweets. That was for me what gave me that kick of sweets that I needed, just again to maintain my sanity throughout this process, because it is very challenging. I don't care, you know, how disciplined you are, or, you know, how much you work out and how easy certain things may be. Losing weight is a challenge for everybody. So please just be mindful that as you go through this journey, you still need to treat yourself with certain things that will just give you joy throughout the process, because it is challenging. So for me, again, popcorn was one of my go-tos, my protein 1 bars. Every now and again, I would have nuts. I did have to be very mindful of the amount of nuts that I ate, because they are very high in fat. Now, today, I definitely eat a lot more nuts, and I'm trying to be mindful of not eating as much nuts, because I love nuts. I love raw nuts, raw almonds, cashews, pistachios. I love any type of raw nut except peanuts. I'm not a big fan of peanuts, but any sort of like nut that's raw, I will eat it. So today I am definitely trying to be more mindful of how much nuts that I eat on a daily basis. However, when I was in the kind of prime time of trying to lose weight, I really kept my nuts to a minimum, because they are very high in fat. Good fat, but they are very high in fat. So that's just a few things that I personally would eat. But again, you just have to figure out what snacks work for you, what it is that your body craves. You might be one who craves more sweets. I enjoy sweets, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm someone who has to have sweets every day. So again, you just have to figure out what works for you and what works for your lifestyle. Next thing that I wanted to talk about, because I actually had got a few questions on dairy. Have I completely cut out dairy? Do I still consume dairy? And the answer is yes. I don't know that I could ever just completely cut out dairy. I still love feta cheese. I still love Parmesan cheese. I still love my Faye Greek yogurt. I still love certain things that have dairy in it. And at the end of the day, again, I keep knocking over these papers, you guys. At the end of the day, again, I know that just for me and my lifestyle, I just want to have certain things that are dairy, and they just keep me sane, and it just makes me happy. So I did not completely cut out dairy. And I know that may be a little bit of a contradiction, because again, I'm transitioning to a whole foods plant-based lifestyle, but I am still consuming some dairy. At the end of the day, you guys, I think you just have to do what works for you, whether it's, you know, under this bracket of vegan or keto or, you know, plant-based or whatever the title of it may be. Figure out just what works for you. Who cares about a title? Who cares, you know, what it falls under? If it makes you feel good, if it makes your body feel good and your mind feel good, just do that. So for me, I knew that still having certain dairy in my lifestyle would, again, just keep me healthy and keep me sane at the end of the day. So there's that when it comes to dairy. And last but not least, you guys, again, I know I'm kind of going through this quickly, but I really just wanted to focus on this, because I honestly think, again, that food is just the biggest component when it comes to weight loss, weight maintaining, or being in a surplus. Food is such a big factor. And last but not least, I just want to quickly cover one thing that we all know, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, but of course, that is water, and getting in as close to a gallon, if you can, a gallon a day. We all know and understand the importance of water and all the benefits that it has. But one thing that I can say, when you are truly trying to just shred, water is going to clear out your system. It kind of pushes out the toxins. It pushes out just everything that needs to be pushed out on a daily basis. So of course, that is super important when you are trying to lose weight. And again, it's not just obviously when you're trying to lose weight, but I think that there needs to be just a bigger emphasis on how much it really does flush out your body on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of the day, that is what we want. Again, I have to remind myself multiple times a day to drink my water, and not have too many iced coffees. But again, it really is just super important to get in as much water as you can, so that it is flushing out all of those toxins from your body. So all right, ladies, and last but not least, I did want to just very quickly cover workouts and the types of workouts that I do, and just what I do activity-wise on a daily basis. And much like everything else that I mentioned, workouts are the same in the fact that you have to figure out what works for you. One thing about me is that I have always, since I played soccer when I was younger until today, I've always liked very aggressive workouts. I'm not someone who can just like sit in the room and just zen out. It's not me. I like to sweat. I like to feel like I may pass out every now and again. I just like very aggressive workouts. I always have. I like the challenge. I like feeling like I'm getting stronger and knowing that I'm getting stronger. So with that being said, I do work out 6 days a week. When I was in like the prime of trying to shred, I want to say I was working out 4 days a week in the beginning, and then I went to 5 days, and then actually last summer I was doing a lot of double days. Now, very unnecessary. That was just me pushing my own limits and just figuring out, you know, my body. Probably wouldn't recommend it unless you are like me and you are someone who just, you know, feels like, okay, I don't have a problem with this. But for a while, I could almost say maybe for the entire summer last year, I was doing several double day workouts. But again, that's just me. Nonetheless, I do a variety of workouts, and that is what, in my opinion, keeps it fresh and keeps it fun. A lot of my workouts I do nowadays on YouTube simply because Corona Lachey. But before she popped up on the scene, I was taking classes through ClassPass. So I would do spin, I would do Pilates Reformer. I am obsessed with Reformer Pilates. I know it is not for everyone. You either really honestly love it or hate it. If you have never heard of Reformer Pilates, it's pretty much Pilates on steroids on a machine. I have never met anyone who is in the middle. You either like truly love it or you truly hate it. I am obsessed with Reformer. That is the one workout since being in quarantine that I absolutely miss the most. I love running. I have put running on pause because I was doing so much running last summer and fall. I was really kind of starting to realize that my feet and my knees were not really doing so well. So I took like a hiatus off running. I do plan on starting to run back very soon since we are going into summer, but I did have to take like a formal hiatus off of running. Nonetheless, I love running. It is one way to really just increase your cardio and your stamina. Cycling, that is something, again, I would do at a studio. I am not someone who has bought a Peloton. I know everybody and their mother are buying Pelotons. I have no interest in buying a Peloton because I just prefer to go to a studio, at least right now. Never say never, but at this point, I have not purchased a Peloton. Nonetheless, I do love cycling. It is a great way to, again, increase your endurance, increase your stamina, and it's just an overall great cardio workout. Also, again, Pilates, like I said earlier, I don't obviously own a reformer machine, so I have maybe about, I don't know, maybe like 9 or 10 months ago, started to incorporate like intermediate Pilates. I cannot tell you how obsessed I am or have become with Pilates. I still love Reformer, but because I'm not able to really get on the Reformer at the moment, I started to incorporate Pilates. And you guys, just the core strength and power that you have to have is kind of like unreal. I really didn't realize until I started to do Pilates at home how strong you really have to be. Like, it really does test your core strength, your balance, your stamina, all of that. So I love a good Pilates moment. Also, barre. And what's crazy is I actually took a barre class 2 or 3 years ago and I hated it. I absolutely did not like it. I just was like, okay, well, this is not for me. Did not like it at all. However, since being in quarantine, a couple of months ago, I decided to just try it again, see how I liked it. And you guys, I'm obsessed. I absolutely love it. Much like Pilates, barre again focuses on your core strength, your balance, your stamina, and just your overall conditioning. So a lot of these workouts, though they can be very different, the benefits really do kind of like work for each other, if that makes sense. Now, next up is one workout that if I can only choose 3 workouts to do for the rest of my life, this would absolutely be one of them, and that is boxing. You guys, I love boxing. I cannot tell you how much endurance, strength, speed, stamina you have to have when you box. And it honestly was not until I started to box like consistently that I realized how good of shape you need to be in so many other areas in order to box. So major kudos and shout outs to all the real life boxers out there. Y'all get a rose because it's not a game. But I started to box maybe in 2018, late 2018, definitely 2019 for sure. And I have been obsessed ever since. Again, boxing covers so many different areas: your speed, your endurance, your balance, your stamina, your strength, all of those things really do come into play when boxing. When I first started to box, I was going to a boxing ring in Oakland. When I moved to New York, there was a boxing studio in Brooklyn that I would go to. And now that I am back in Cali and really not going to any boxing studios because they're just not open, I have been pretty much taking YouTube boxing classes. And there is one particular instructor by the name of Nate. And by the way, if I didn't already say this, I will leave a link or links below to, I guess, my favorite instructors for every category of the different types of workouts that I do. So the person that I like to watch, or the instructor that I like to watch, is Nate Burkus. I think, no, not Nate Burkus. Nate Bauer, that's his name, or Bowery, or something like that. And he's amazing. And a lot of the boxing classes that I take are boxing conditioning classes. So you get elements of formal boxing and just, you know, knowing your punches, knowing your combinations, things like that. But also it is a lot of conditioning. So burpees, squats, lunges, things that a lot of people hate. That is what I love, because those are all components to boxing that you absolutely need in order to really be a good boxer. And not only do I love boxing just for all of those reasons, but I love it because it's a form of self-defense. So for me, again, if I had to choose 3 workouts to do for the rest of my life, boxing would unquestionably be one of them. And last but not least, on the types of workouts that I do is HIIT workouts. If you're not familiar with HIIT, it is just high intensity interval training. And the only way I know how to explain it is you're doing something pretty aggressive, I will say, for a certain amount of time. So you may be doing burpees for 45 seconds, and then you have a 15-minute rest, and then you're going to do push-ups for another 45 seconds, and then you have a 15-minute rest. So you're doing these increments, these intervals of different workouts, different exercises, and it's pretty much the entirety of what you're doing. Now, a lot of people don't like HIIT workouts because, again, they are quite aggressive. If you are someone that has a lot of like knee injuries, ankle injuries, or, you know, you're maybe just not at a place yet where you feel like you can kind of last. There are so many different, even like low impact cardio HIIT workouts that you can do that I recommend doing if you are not someone that likes HIIT workouts, or obviously you want to start at a certain place and then work your way up. That is something that I do recommend. All right, ladies, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was informational. I hope that it answers any questions that you might have had. If it did not, I'm happy to answer your questions as best as I can. But please be mindful, again, like I said so many times throughout this video, that whether you want to lose weight, gain weight, or simply figure out how to maintain your weight, you have to figure out what works best for you. It is truly all about trial and error. And at the end of the day, please be mindful and just remember that you have to be patient and you have to give yourself grace, because weight loss is definitely something that takes time. There is no overnight secret. There is no overnight diet. I don't care what it is going to take time. So please just be patient with yourself, and just know that if you are consistent and you are putting in the work and doing what you need to do, I promise you, you will get to your goal, whatever your goal may be. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button down below. While you are there, of course, be sure to hit the bell notification so you are notified when I do upload a new video. If you are not already following me over on Instagram, I would love for you to follow me over there. Check out my blog, CHANELFILES.com. And last but certainly not least, stay safe, be blessed, and I will talk to you guys a little bit later.